In proportion as we endeavor to live according to the guidance of reason, shall we strive as much as possible to depend less on hope, to liberate ourselves from fear, to rule fortune, and to direct our actions by the sure counsels of reason. I have made a ceaseless effort not to ridicule, not to bewail, not to scorn human actions, but to understand them. God is the indwelling and not the transient cause of all things. If slavery, barbarism, and desolation are to be called peace, men can have no worse misfortune. If anyone conceives that an object of his love joins itself to another with closer bonds of friendship than he himself has attained to, he will be affected with hatred towards the loved object and with envy towards his rival. Simply from the fact that we have regarded a thing with the emotion of pleasure or pain, though that thing be not the efficient cause of the emotion, we can either love or hate it. There can be no hope without fear, and no fear without hope. I have tried sedulously not to laugh at the acts of man, nor to lament them, nor to detest them, but to understand them. I believe that a triangle, if it could speak, would say that God is eminently triangular, and a circle that the divine nature is eminently circular, and thus would every one ascribe his own attributes to God. It is sure that those are most desirous of honor or glory who cry out loudest of its abuse and the vanity of the world. I can control my passions and emotions if I can understand their nature. Laws directed against opinions affect the generous-minded rather than the wicked, and are adapted less for coercing criminals than for irritating the upright. If any one conceives that he is loved by another, and believes that he has given no cause for such love, he will love that other in return. There is no hope unmingled with fear, and no fear unmingled with hope. Peace is not an absence of war, it is a virtue, a state of mind, a disposition for benevolence, confidence, justice. In so far as we understand, we can desire nothing but that which must be, nor, in an absolute sense, can we find contentment in anything but truth. Men govern nothing with more difficulty than their tongues, and can moderate their desires more than their words. Nothing exists from whose nature some effect does not follow. God and all attributes of God are eternal. Nothing in nature is random. A thing appears random only through the incompleteness of our knowledge. The highest activity a human being can attain is learning for understanding, because to understand is to be free. Non writer, non luger, nec detestari, sed intelliger. Minds are not conquered by force, but by love and high-mindedness. Freedom is absolutely necessary for the progress in science and the liberal arts. Self-complacency is pleasure accompanied by the idea of oneself as cause. Reason cannot defeat emotion, and emotion can only be displaced or overcome by a stronger emotion. Happiness is not the reward of virtue, but is virtue itself, nor do we delight in happiness because we restrain from our lusts, but on the contrary, because we delight in it, therefore we are able to restrain them. Peace is not the absence of war, but a virtue based on strength of character. Those who are believed to be most abject and humble are usually most ambitious and envious. It is usually the case with most men that their nature is so constituted that they pity those who fare badly and envy those who fare well. In the mind, there is no absolute or free will. Care of the poor is incumbent on society as a whole.